Let me just say a couple of things first. I'll tip my hat to Kansas. Really, their kids made some great plays in the moment. Really proud of our football team. I thought we battled back. For whatever reason, we weren't ready to play early. But, man, I thought our kids really did a great job responding. And again, I tip my hat to them. They did a great job in the football game, made some plays to win the football game. And, man, we were hair off, and it's a couple opportunities to swing the momentum totally back our way. But we'll grow from it, learn from it, and Randy, I'll let you get started.
Matt, in your previous two games at least, from the get-go, you opened up the offense. Tonight, it was not as open as it was in the past.
And I don't even know if it was open as much as we just really weren't in sync. And, I think to be open, you have to have some precision and detail. And, that's the word tonight. Like, literally, special teams, we give up a punt return for 12 yards, ends up, costing us, I think, a score. Defensively, man, you're right there on a couple things. Our precision and detail was a hair off, and really the same thing on offense. I mean, just a lack of precision and detail. And when you don't get first downs, then it's hard to open up the offense. It's hard to get in a flow, right? And and then you have ultimately the end all is we didn't take care of the football. I'm sure we lost that tonight. I think it was 1-0, but our recipe of success is the ability to win those margins, and we didn't. And so, again, I tip your hat to their kids. They made some plays, and we'll learn from it and grow from it. But that's what I would say, Randy.
Along those same lines, the pick six, what did you see?
Miscommunication. I didn't think Rocco thought it was going to be one route. It was a read route. And those things happen, and you got to live from it, learn from it. What I was very proud of is his ability to respond, and I thought he came back and really played a great football game. I don't know what his numbers were, but I thought his numbers were pretty impressive from that point on, and that can rattle you, and that's not easy. And again, I think he should have ran a hitch, had the ability to run. I think he did run a hitch, was open, and I think Rocco thought he was going to run something else. So part of the growth process for sure.
There was twice in the first half where you could have tried 50-plus yard field goals that you opted not to. What was the thought process?
Yeah, we were down. That's probably a great thing because I was thinking the same thing. Just, am I making the right call? I'm sure you can go either which way on it, to be quite honest with you. But, you're down 2 scores. You wanted to try to give yourself some momentum. We end up being able to get points on the board right there at the end of the half. Can you debate it? I'm sure you probably can, and I'm sure I'll probably debate it too. But at the end of the day, you're trying to do what you needed to do to just get some momentum going back in the football game is really what I thought. And I think there were 4th and 3, 4th and 4 situations where I thought you could really do a great job converting. We just didn't.
Matt, the hair off you talked about, you get within 3, you feel like you had the momentum, like you said, and they hit on that 80-yarder.
Yeah.
I assumed it wasn't designed for Malik to be stuck chasing that play down.
Right.
What happened on that play?
Yeah, they get us on really those 2 plays, right? You get it at 3rd and 3 at the end of the game, and you get that one to start the drive right as you're getting the momentum back. And, it literally, I think, just discipline with our eyes, and man, again, credit to them. Great call. We've got great players. I believe in our kids. Certainly believe in our scheme. But man, you can't be a hair off, and we were. And so again, we got to do a better job, myself included, of how do we coach it? How do we make sure we keep doing a great job pounding away at those details? But again, give great calls by them and great execution. I thought their quarterback played unbelievable tonight. So credit to him.
One area you didn't seem to be a hair off is 3rd downs, which I know has been an issue at times. You had 3 of 3rd and 12 or more that fueled your 2 touchdowns in the second half, and you talk about improvement there, what you need to see along with the other stuff.
Yeah, and again, I think we'll look back on it, and Rocco made some great plays. He extended some of those. Really did a great job keeping his vision downfield. I think hits Jalen on the one that keeps us going in the big drive that we go and score, and then used his legs on a couple of those too to kind of give ourselves a great chance. And that's what I mean about Rocco tonight, which was so impressive to me, to bounce back from that moment and the ability to just keep growing through it, that's a credit to him. So proud of him, proud of our kids, quite honestly. Our kids didn't quit fighting and quit believing until the very end of the football game. But, it's another great lesson is, man, if you want to beat these veteran teams that got veteran football players, it's precision and detail. And that's really every one of the losses we've had, it's been because of those situations. So got to learn from it and got to make the corrections we need to make to win those football games.
What's Jeremiah's situation?
Yeah, so, was out last week, just really struggled to get him back for sure this week. And, we'll kind of know a little bit more as we go into this week. I don't think it's a long period of time. Hopefully we can get him back this coming week, but we're going to make sure we can get him back when it's time.
What was the explanation on Jalen's kick return?
Well, I can't wait to hear what it is. I have no idea. So, really goofy situation. It was choppy. Really, there was no explanation on that one. But I guess we'll figure it out, I'm sure, on Sunday or Monday when it's time to hear it.
So they didn't tell you that they blew it dead? And that's
They
why
didn't. They
reviewing it?
didn't.
Okay.
He said he stepped out is what he said to me. So I don't know if that was the case. It certainly didn't look like it. But you would think that they would review it. But they review everything else. But that didn't get reviewed somehow.
Did you ask about reviewing?
Yeah, I did, yes. And they said he stepped out. Yep.
Coach, you talked about Jeremiah Cooper's situation there. What led to Miles Purchase not playing for the first quarter and then getting in right at the beginning of the second?
Yeah, I just think, Miles is continuing to kind of work through maybe a little bit of a slow start to the season at times, and honestly, John Tez Williams is playing great football, and, Darian Porter's played great football for us. So, man, it's just a process right now, to be quite honest with you. I thought Miles did respond and probably played a pretty good football game, so I look forward to watching the videotape.
And a little bit earlier, you talked about needing to perfect some of the little details to kind of win some more of these games. How do you go about doing that?
Well, we've won a lot of games.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
right.
But how do you go about perfecting those things to win the last 3 or 4 games? Which could
Well,
be
you got to
tough as well.
practice, right? And then, it's part of the journey. I mean, we keep growing and getting better. Like I said, what I was inspired by tonight from our kids is I thought some of those things really transformed in the second half of the football game. But, again, got to give a little bit of credit to your opponent as well. I mean, they made some great plays in some critical spots that, you got to tip your hat to as well. And I at least got enough humility to do that.
This is maybe minutia, but ahead of their field goal late in the first half, you guys let about 20, 25 seconds go off before calling the timeout. What's the thinking there? Do you wish you would have taken it early, or
So-
that one let them set up?
You know what? I'll be honest with you, I can't even remember that situation. To be honest with you, I would have to reflect on that a little bit. I'll answer for you on Tuesday, so I'd give you a bad answer right now, so I apologize.
You talked about not winning the turnover margin, and I think of a guy like Jeremiah Cooper who wasn't in today. What kind of impact does he have on the team, and kind of what did you see maybe in that area?
Yeah, obviously Jeremiah is a really good football player. We've got a lot of really good football players, and honestly, we had a young man step in there today. I thought started maybe a hair slow, but man, I thought played really great second, third, and fourth quarter of the football game. And so, you hate to lose a guy like Jeremiah because he's playing so good, but you also believe in your roster and you believe in the young men in your program. And we've got great kids. I thought our guys stepped in and did some really good things in that situation. And, when you lose a good player, you expect everybody else around that player too to step in and do their job as well. So just part of the college football journey is the next guy's got to step up and be ready to play. All right, guys. Thanks.